Well, it's pretty dark here in the morning now. I'm at work, another day at work, and another day to go through the rigmarole of just getting through a day. I gotta say, it's been a hell of a journey in the last 5 weeks of just trying to get through the shutdown, and at the same time ingesting a lot of content that I didn't used to ingest and truly enjoy. Because I gotta say, I laugh my ass off and do a lot of other things on the off time. So yesterday, I had the day off, not by choice. I had to take a day off because I had to go get some extra training, not for anything work-related, just for a family member, and it kind of sucked. It wasn't one of these things that I wanted to do. I'd rather would have been at work, but it allowed me to do some other things, because it wasn't all day, obviously, but because of where my work is, it's really hard to get there otherwise, and so I just kind of took the day off. I was like, okay, I can maybe work on some other stuff, and I was able to work on a bunch of stuff around the channel, around Twitch, around just trying to learn more about the VR situation. And I've sorted a bunch of things out for VR, but I'm still having some issues. And this is kind of a follow-up to the previous video, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about the drawing video that I did, because I've got some thoughts that I think I should share with that as well. But as for the VR issues with the trackers, I have the trackers working. They're working. I can see them in VR now. I can do everything in VR with them. I have a major problem though. For some reason, and I don't know what this is all about, but for some reason, the trackers seem to be at 90 degrees to my headset. And I don't know how to fix that. I've gone through a bunch of settings. I've tried fixing a bunch of the other things. There's other things that I've been able to do to try and fix the height. I no longer see them in the floor. I see them right in front of me, but when I attach them to the avatar, they are at 90 degrees. So if I put my foot forward, my leg goes to the side, and I don't know what's going on. It's a very strange circumstance, and I don't think I've tried looking it up, and I don't see any luck with it. I've been sent a video, and I'm going to watch this in a little bit. It sounds like Linus has tried to do some stuff with the VR, and it sounds like one of the solutions is maybe to plug it in directly into the motherboard 3.0 slots, which I do have enough, but instead of a hub, and just transfer everything else to the hub, which could very well work. I could see the degradation of data being lost on something like that. But I don't think that's going to solve the issue. I think there's an issue within VR. I don't know if there's another setting. So during the VR setup, you have the whole room set up. I've done this a million times now, trying to reset the room. The two base stations that I have, they are working now. I can see them both in VR. And to fix that, what I had to do was plug them into the computer. So I plugged them into the computer. After I did that, it updated them, and now the computer just recognizes both of them right away. So I don't have any issues with that. They are set. They are put up on the walls. They are where they need to be, because now I'm seeing all the VR right in front of me. I'm seeing the skeleton structure, and I'm able to assign them. It's a little slight nuance. Trying to assign them to my feet hasn't been the easiest. I kind of wish I could turn around and grab the tracker and say, this is where it goes. But you have to sit there and line it up with yourself so everything lines up. Which I get it, because if you don't do that, then it's going to kind of be off center. So it's kind of weird in that sense, because it's putting me, I have all four of the trackers, and they are slightly above where I'm standing now. So I don't know if I've got to turn around and build a platform just to have them work properly, which could very well be something I do in the future. It's not hard to build something like that. But when it comes to trying to set the trackers up, you set them up. Like I said, you step forward, and all of a sudden your foot's going to the side. I try and move in my room, in my space, and it's like everything is being dragged to the side instead of fluidly moving with you. So I'm not quite sure how to fix that. I don't know if there's something I got to do with the headset, maybe orientate it differently when I reset the room. I'm not entirely sure. Now, the other stuff going on here with the channel and with me personally, and just diving into the furry fandom. And I gotta say, it's been a riot. You know, I've got a couple people, they tell me, oh, you're diving into a trap, and you're just not going to find it enjoyable. And you know, I've had the offhand comment, oh, you don't even own any furry stuff. You don't own a tail. You don't own this. Well, I was sent the Amazon mask, but it doesn't mean that that makes you a furry. None of that makes you a furry. It's a completely different mindset at this point. Trying to just do things very, very differently, trying to just understand it. And it's not so much that you are suddenly a furry. It's you have an appreciation for the art. You have appreciation for the little nuanced things that you see within the fandom. And that's where it is. It's a hobby nonetheless. And you pick it up and you go, yeah, this is a hobby I like to do. This is something I like to do, and it's something I like to talk about, and it's something I enjoy. And that's what is the very big difference here. Now, within this channel, I've used the Phoenix as something for a very, very long time. And after really discovering what it means to suddenly call yourself a furry, it's a completely different idea and different thing altogether. With the Phoenix side of things, I have to say, over the last 5-6 years with the channel, I would say that the channel was furry adjacent. It wasn't so much that I was a furry at that point. I never really gave it much thought, even though I was asked a couple times. They were like, oh, are you a furry? And I'm like, not that I know of, you know, but I never really looked into it. And if I had really looked into it back then and found a community like I have now, I probably would have said back then, oh yeah, we're a furry. And you know, it's the creative side of things at the same time. So this is where it ties into the drawing. And before I started drawing, I had really no ability to it. You know, I drew the odd thing here and there. The biggest thing that I ever drew back when I was a kid was the Moogle off the Final Fantasy III poster that came in the Super Nintendo box. That was the biggest thing I ever did, and I had traced that. I put it down and I traced that out, and then I colored it. You know, that was the biggest thing I'd ever drawn in my life. Other than that, it was stick figures. I was like, I don't know how to draw. I don't know what I'm doing. Now I'm at a point where I'm like, hey, this is kind of neat. I can, if I do this, I get a little bit more expressive look to the character or to the paper. And it's a unique sense when you can now see these things in your mind's eye, and then you can put it on paper. It's a very good sense of accomplishment in that point. And that in itself is a step towards something, towards a bigger world. You know, the whole thing with VR, the whole idea of the fandom, it's a completely different sense of well-being. And everything I've done up to this point, I denied these things. I said, no, I'm not going to be a part of this because, you know, listening to the stereotypes, listening to these things. And I went, what does it matter? You know, I'm old enough now that I don't care. I don't care. People have called me everything under the sun. And I'm like, I don't care. You can call me whatever you want, but it's not going to change who I am. It's not going to change that we've done thousands of fundraising for a hospital, that I've done a lot of just giving back. And I think that part in itself is very unique. And I think it puts me a little bit in a different category altogether. I'm not some talking head on the internet anymore. I'm literally sitting here in front of you just saying, listen, I'm here and now I'm a furry, and now things are a lot more fun and a lot more unique and a lot more interesting. And I think that drives the point home a little bit more. You know, I can go out there, I can buy a tail, but does that really do it? I don't know. Maybe at Christmas I'll get gifted one or something. Maybe we'll see something more. And I gotta say, you know, I'm going to call him out here. Crash Test, you pushed me into a direction that I never knew I would absolutely enjoy, and it's been a lot of fun. So thank you, Crash Test, for that. It's been a very, very pleasurable experience overall. And, you know, I've seen a couple of the more seedy things, and I went, that's tame. That's tame. And I gotta say, it's a lot of fun. Otherwise, just having the appreciation for people and appreciation for the artwork that comes from it, and just my mind was completely blown away at some of the things that I've seen in VR. Some of the things people have been able to do just blows my mind away, and it's going to keep me there for a very long time. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix Cineshadow. I'm signing off here. Have yourselves a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.